Hi, this is curated by Fidan. Here we talk about art, art fairs, art business, and everything art related. In this episode of Studio Visit, we are at Hill Spriggins studio in Brooklyn. Hi, Hill.
Hi.
And thank you so much, by the way, inviting us to your studio.
Thank you for coming.
The whole video is I didn't want us to treat this video as a resume. I wanted to know what is your process, how you think, how you feel your art. How do you know when a work wants to begin?
I'm one of those people or one of those artists that I don't think too much about what I'm going to do beforehand. I'm not a planner. I just really jump full force into the works, and I think that allows me to produce the works quicker and as they're intended to be, because I think too much planning, nothing ever goes according to plan. And I think having a plan, at least for me, it's just useless, because I truly feel I start every painting off not knowing how to paint. The paint does what it wants to do, and I'm like, hey, why are you doing that? The brush is like not work. Like this one, I was really struggling with. I feel like the materials were doing their own thing, and I just had to sort of submit to them. It felt like the paint wasn't working how it usually does.
Do ideas arrive visually, emotionally, or physically for you?
I want to say it's a mixture of visually and emotionally. There are definitely these moments as I'm experiencing them, I'm like, oh, I want to remember this forever. Well, I see everything in a painting. Like if I'm just having a conversation with someone, I'm looking at how the light's hitting them. I'm like, oh, how would I mix this color? How would I do this brush stroke? What color do they feel like? I'm one of those people that has synesthesia, as annoying as that is. Did you see the Cynthia Erivo interview? It was like the Actors Roundtable, and everyone on Twitter was like, she's so annoying, like that's fake. I was like, no, it's not fake. That's actually exactly what it is.
What is it?
Synesthesia. It's like a mingling of the senses. So when she hears music, she sees color. I feel like I have a few versions of it. I give everything a personality. Like, I can walk you through the alphabet and tell you every letter's personality and their relationship to each other. But also how that shows up is when I'm talking to someone, I'm like seeing color in the way that they talk and the way that they move and express themselves. So,
do you have a favorite color?
My favorite color changes every day. Primary, like emerald green, is really speaking to me recently. Eve Klein blue is like, I could get lost in an Eve Klein. Royal blue, ultramarine blue. And it's weird because I don't really paint with blue. This is my attempt to start painting with blue. Someone said that all of my paintings are really warm, and that bothered me. Or it didn't bother me, but it was an astute observation. I said, yeah, I need to cool it down a little bit. But I don't even think it's working, honestly.
But don't you think it's part of your personality? You are a warm person and you do attract those warmness. This is also a very warm painting.
Yeah, right? And it was supposed to be cool.
How it's gonna work if you are trying to cool it down.
Yeah, and even the background, that's in Danthrine and Smalt blue in the background. Two great colors, by the way. But thank you for calling me a warm person. That means a lot.
From our first meeting at the Sotheby's, I do remember you as a warm person.
And I was so scared that night because it was a solo exhibition and there was so many people that I hadn't met, and everyone wants to talk to you. I think show nights are so overwhelming because my work is so personal to me, and it really means more than I could ever express that people take time out of their day to see my work. And so when someone's trying to talk to you and then you're being pulled every which way and you can't give them the attention that they deserve, I just sort of panic on show days and I feel like I'm not my best self.
It's your night though. It is your night. So I think as a visitor, you have to have a little understanding that artist is one person and this is their show. This is their day to shine. We are not there to get your attention. We are there to support you. I don't think actually we had that much crowd after your show. Yours was the most busy, a very big crowd and colorful crowd. I do vividly remember that night. So my next question will be about your daily routines, and possibly if you have a specific studio routine, what is the first thing you do when you come into studio, or is there a thing that you don't think you can start without doing it?
Mine isn't very original, and it's actually something my therapist hates that I do. I recently developed a caffeine addiction. You can see my Celsius collection. Over here, I have all of the Celsiuses.
Oh my God.
Every flavor. I love it. I feel like this is what Popeye feels like when he eats spinach. I'm at my apex when I have a Celsius. After that, well, I think my ritual is starting off at home. So wake up, drink a Celsius, hit the gym. I've been gymming recently. And it's unfortunate when they say that physical exertion helps your mental health, because it's true. Like, I know no one wants to hear it, but it's true.
Cliche, yes, but it works. It works every time. It works.
It does. And the people experience runner's high. I've recently been experiencing climber's high, like 30 minutes on the stair climber. And then I come to the studio, take the train, come to the studio. Once I'm here, I honestly start off most paintings with either Hustler music by Lil Wayne, Through the Wire by Kanye West, or Forever by Drake. It just gets me hyped. Also, I think what's become a part of my ritual is reading. And also recording words that I don't know and expanding my vocabulary. I actually have what I consider to be my Hill dictionary, and it's recording. Like, once I'm done with a book, I go through the book. As I'm reading, I record all the words that I don't know in an orange highlighter. And then once I'm done with the book, I go back and handwrite and define them.
Can you read me a couple of them?
I'll read you some of my favorites. There's vehemence, the display of strong feeling or passion. There is furtive, attempting to avoid notice or attention because of guilt or a belief that discovery would lead to trouble, or secretive. Magnanimous, fastidious, pedantic.
What does
esoteric.
pedantic mean?
Pedantic of or like a pedant. So a pedant is someone who is very concerned with details.
We're going to talk about your process and decision making.
Okay.
How much of your process is intuitive versus deliberate?
It's entirely intuitive. I don't mix on a palette, I mix on the canvas. And I think that just comes from, it's like, oh, this feels like yellow, this should be yellow, this needs red, she's feeling kind of purple today. I actually started this off with thinking that there were going to be more purple and red, but as I got into it, I realized that it was going to be more of like an India yellow or like a cadmium scarlet sort of thing.
Is this your current artwork you're working on?
I'm working on 1, 2, and 3, and kind of 4. I've recently taken a step back from social media because I think it was affecting how I work.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people were starting to expect to see a certain kind of thing. I also think social media sort of made me believe that I needed to produce very quickly. And now I'm working in a way where I'm asking myself, like, do I like this? And making works that I'm actually proud of. So I've just been sort of creating in seclusion, and even my studio mates haven't been here. And it's been interesting to see how I create when I don't have eyes on me, or I'm not expecting to share something soon. Like, as of right now, I feel like this piece is done, but because I haven't shared it, that gives me the liberty to go back and change something. So until I share it, this is not a finished work, this is a work in progress.
Do you think, like when we talk about intuition, I am a huge believer of intuition, that it tells you the truth, but we learn to mute, or as a woman actually, we believe that, oh, maybe it's just my intuition, let me listen what society says. How do you feel? Do you think you're very in tune with your intuition? Do you listen to your intuition? Is it strong? Or how did it change throughout the years?
It's very funny because I'm known to have awful intuition.
I wouldn't say that actually. I don't know why.
In the sense that I cannot tell when someone is a bad person, but I think that comes from the belief that I don't really believe in bad people.
Okay.
But there have been times where my friends are like, yo, that person has a bad vibe. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's my new best friend. Like, we're great. Like, she's great. I think my intuition when it comes to art is good. I think it can get better. I'm always like striving to get better and improve. But my intuition when it comes to people especially is just weak. I kind of like that about myself. Like, I don't like, or I can't, like, has it gotten me kicked in the ass multiple times? Yeah. But I'd rather be a person who leads with openness than just to be skeptical of everyone. I think that's a horrible way to live.
Do you like listen to your work while making it? Does it tell you what it needs? When do you know a piece is finished? This is 2 different questions, so you can start from wherever you want.
Usually I go off of when I'm not enjoying it anymore. I think if I'm not enjoying it, then I'm overworking it, and that's never a good thing. I've actually asked myself this a lot recently because I'm not looking at a photo and trying to copy it exactly how it is, and I think when you are working that way, it's easier to know when a work is finished. So it is more difficult for me to say, now it's done. Like I just pointed out with this piece. Like I feel like it's done, but I might go home and I'll look at it on my phone. I'll take a picture every time I leave the studio and I'll be like, it needs this color, it needs that. So I think I try to sit with things a little longer now. I also feel like what informs when a piece is finished now is how it's speaking to the other works that I'm working on. And are they in conversation with each other? And I think before I didn't work in terms of series, but when I've been having shows these past few years, it's like, it's gratifying to see, I guess, things being repeated or them in conversation with one another.
Do you do your work as a series that's, okay, this needs to follow each other, or is just the satisfaction you get from each painting that, okay, I love this finished, and this has to be in the same level of satisfaction, and then I will know this is finished?
I think it depends on how many I'm working on, because I'm actually just coming off of a studio hiatus. I wasn't in the studio from October to December, which is a record for me. And because I hadn't painted in so long, it just sort of came out of me, and I was like, I need to paint, I need to paint, I need to paint. I was like, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. Because I was just so excited to paint. And I think when you're working on things simultaneously, it's more natural for them to speak to one another and sort of relay those themes, because I don't use a new palette for every painting. It's like, oh, maybe I should add some of that red into this one. Like, oh, I should do the red parts now. But when I'm working on paintings individually, I think those sort of have their own lives. Actually, if I were to, maybe we could do that later. But behind the blue one, there's a painting of my friend Belle, and I was working on that one while I was working on the one of my friend Parham. And those sort of have this frenetic gestural feel to them that I really appreciate. And even as I was looking through my show in October, I could see ones that were made at a similar point in time. I think the earlier works of last year were more gestural and looser. And then as I carried on throughout the year, they kind of tightened up.
Are these oldest people your friends?
Yeah.
How do you decide that, okay, I will paint this friend or that friend? Do you think they get feeling of honor that, oh, Hill is painting me, or do they get jealous that, oh, Hill hasn't painted me?
Both. It's so funny because this one and the one behind you are of the same person.
Yeah.
I was texting my friend Talia right before you came here. She was like, Salem again. And I was like, Salem, like, you can't be upset about that. It's definitely not of a thing of like who I love more, or it's just who is willing to not react to a camera being pointed on them, or actually who is comfortable with a camera being on them. Because some people really tense up, and then that sort of ruins the sort of candidness that I kind of strive for in my paintings. To be fair, Salem is a model, so I think she can remain natural in front of a camera, or like she's used to it, and like things still remain candid. And this one's kind of funny. This is my friends Liv and Kelsey. I was taking a picture of Liv and Samir. Kelsey saw me taking it, and she was like, no, don't paint that. Like, I have to be in it. Because usually people know that if my camera's out, I'm looking at it for a photographic reference. But I've painted Kelsey 3 times now.
Who's Kelsey?
Kelsey is this one.
Oh, okay.
And she's super comfortable being painted, and she's excited every time. I think that's a nice feeling when people are really excited to see themselves.
I would be honored. Have you ever done live pose? No?
No.
Have you ever painted your lovers?
Yeah.
How is that process? How does it make you feel? Is it inspiring, or is it like a little pressure that you want to do your best for them?
Actually, this is a testament to how every love is different. Because there was one where it was so natural and so intuitive, and I knew that she would be happy with how she was portrayed, like no matter what. And I feel like that allowed me to paint her in a way that how I felt with her. It was more than like an exact translation of the photo. It was really how I felt when I'm with her, as opposed to a carbon copy of a photo. Whereas like another girl I really loved, it was like everything about this moment was perfect and I shouldn't change anything. And I was able to be so present in that moment that I want to show that same presentness in this painting. And I think for a while it was difficult for me to, well, have you read Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde? There's this point where Basil, the painter, he's like, no one can see this painting. Like, there's too much of myself in it. Like, it's gonna like reveal everything about me. And I think he was in denial that he was in love with Dorian Gray, or maybe he was really aware of it, but he was like, my soul is on this canvas, and it's really embarrassing almost. And it does feel like that sometimes. I also read that love is supposed to be humiliating. Like, humiliating has such a negative connotation, but when you're describing someone and you describe them as someone who has humility, it's actually a compliment. It's a virtue. And so the root word of humiliating is humus, which means earth. And when you're in love with someone, it's supposed to be a return to earth. Like, you're supposed to feel grounded. And I've been thinking about that a lot. But then when things end, I unfortunately have a bit of an ego about me. When I'm done with someone, I'm like, oh, I didn't know them. Like, I don't know them. Like, you can't say you didn't know them if you have a painting of them out there in the world. So I'm trying to really get over that. And I feel like it was like that when I was younger. But now I'm just like, yeah, this was a testament to this point in my life. This was a testament to love we shared. That might not have been forever, but at least this painting will be forever.
Do you gift them to them, or do you keep the painting for
I
yourself?
used to. No,
Not
that is
anymore?
no.
How would you feel if you find out that, let's say, I don't know, 50 years from now, you're very, very popular, all your paintings are extremely expensive, and the person sells that painting?
I think about that a lot already. Because it's weird. It's like, okay, I gifted you this when we were so much younger, and now you have moved on with your life. I've moved on with my life. Do you hate me so much that you weren't smart enough to keep it? Like, in discarding our relationship, did you discard the art? Like, were you that dumb? Or were you smart enough to keep it?
Yeah. So I do believe love affects our work and it takes it somewhere. And recently I'm reading Patti Smith and Robert Mapplethorpe.
Just Kids?
Yeah, Just Kids.
Okay.
And it is so beautiful. I don't want to finish it. I'm halfway there.
There's a Van Gogh quote. I read Van Gogh's letters to his brother. This quote said, I think the most artistic thing someone can do is fall in love or be in love or something like that.
Do you think we don't create that much anymore because we are not in love? It's so hard to fall in love now. Everything is on apps, or even in real life, you sit at the bar, someone comes talks to you, and at one point I'm like, is this New York making me so jaded that I think I'm scanning the person, and in my mind I'm already done. Like, I go through the scenario, I'm like, okay, we're gonna break up, I'm gonna cry, or he's gonna act this way, I'm gonna break his heart.
And I said this in a recent interview. It was something like, I'm in love with all my friends. And I think you can be in love with someone platonically, but I also think all friendships are like inherently a little bit romantic, or the best ones are. And you don't have to act on the romance, but I think it just defines, I mean, it depends on your boundaries and your definitions of like platonic and romantic. I'm in love with life itself. I'm in love with my friends. I'm in love with strangers. I think I start off in love and then you like work your way down from there. But I think you really fall in love with someone when you're painting them. I think painting is inherently romantic. It's like I'm spending hours on end, days on end, looking at your face, paying attention to all these details. Like, you have to love someone a certain amount to do that. And I really could do it for all of everyone in my life. I could also do it for a few strangers.
Does it ever happen that you painted stranger and you fall in love?
Not yet, but I don't count it out. I do think I've walked out of a painting loving someone more than I did before I started the painting.
After the painting, do you remember everything about their face? Like, for example, your friend has freckles. Now, when you look at them, do you like, oh, I remember she has a freckle here, or this and that, little details about their face.
This one was super interesting with the freckles in particular, because after I took the photo, I was like, are you attached to your freckles? Do you have a favorite freckle? Because I would be sure to include it, or I would do them individually if she did memorize every single one of her freckles. And she showed me her favorite one, and it actually isn't visible in this photo. In this painting, it's on the inside of her hand. It's otherwise, not really, no. So I was able to do a technique that I love doing, which is getting a bunch of paint thinner in the paint and just sort of dabbing the paintbrush. So those aren't exact replicas of her freckles. Yeah, I do think I am more familiar with her face now, yeah. Like I said, I'm working on a second painting of her. I'm really familiar with his face. I have like 5 paintings of him.
5 paintings of him?
Yeah. He changes a lot though. Like his hair is always different. So that's why it probably doesn't look like it's the same person.
I want to ask you about your studio and how space affects your art.
Space is super interesting because I remember when I first moved to New York, it was my first time like living outside of a dorm, living on my own, and I had this shoebox apartment in Lower East Side. And when I mean shoebox, it was bed touching fridge, touching bathroom. You could not move around in it. And I was like, I will sacrifice a sofa, I will sacrifice a TV, I will sacrifice everything if I can just get an easel next to my bed. And that's what I did. I was like, as long as I can do this, like I'm gonna be fine. And then NYU gave us studios. The work got bigger. I graduated, moved to Bushwick. And again, it was like, I'll sacrifice a huge chunk of this. I mean, the Bushwick apartment is obviously bigger than the studio apartment. But I was like, how about I not do a bedroom and I make the bedroom a studio and I like sleep in the living room? And my friend was like, that's crazy. Like you have this corner here, just paint in this corner. There's enough room. And so I did that. And then I moved to this place. The work it does depend on the space. Like I look at the work I was making in the studio apartment, it was so small and it just so wasn't me. But I think I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to paint at all that it's just like, as long as I can do it, I'm gonna be happy. As long as, like, it doesn't matter what sacrifices I have to make spatial wise, as long as I can do this, I'm gonna do it.
How long you can go without painting?
But that's the thing, I'm always gonna make a space. Doesn't matter.
Even the corner?
Yeah, like I am going to make a space. I think the 2-month bout was the longest I've ever gone. Even when I'm on vacation, it's like 3 days. It's like, all right, I need to get back to New York, I need to paint. Like,
do you take a sketchbook or something like that? Do you like sketching or?
I don't really like sketching.
Your favorite medium is painting?
Yeah, I'm a painter.
Okay, amazing. Are you open to experiment, or do you think at one point in your life you would experiment? I'm asking in general, like any other material, like let's say clay or photo or video. So you really enjoy painting?
Yeah, I've done it all. I've been in rotation with all of those mediums since I was 14 years old, because I went to an arts conservatory for high school. So the curriculum every year was like, have to take photography, have to take digital, have to take sculpture, have to take ceramics. And NYU was also like, you have to take these classes too. Have to take screen printing, have to take printmaking. And it just doesn't feel the same. I'll do it. I had to do it for a grade, but my heart wasn't in it. And I can appreciate the artists who do work that way. Like there are so many photographers that I admire, like Jack Pearson and Nan Golden and Ryan McGinley. They're so great, but it's just not for me. Like I'm never gonna work. I mean, I can't say never, but I have no intentions of not painting.
Do you work better at a certain time of the day or certain states of mind?
Morning for sure.
Oh, okay.
I am an early riser, and that's actually why I usually miss my studio mates. They'll be coming in around 2 or 3, and I'll be wrapping up because I've been here since like 7 or 8.
I was under the impression that all artists are starting their day at 1 p.m.
Absolutely not. I can't sleep past 9 maybe.
Yeah, same actually.
Yeah.
I hate when I sleep.
I feel like a
night.
bum if I sleep into double digits. I have this rule. It's an internal rule. Maybe this is a ritual. I can't eat breakfast if the clock has 4 digits on the, like, once it hits 10 a.m., I'm like, oh, it's lunchtime? Or like, I can't eat pancakes at 10 a.m. I can't have a waffle. I can't have an egg at 10 a.m. It's too late.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I can have pancake at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite, I would say, food or snack to bring to studio?
I think I really don't eat while I lock in so hard. I almost forget to eat all the time. Occasionally, like my studio mate, well, not occasionally, there was a point in time during last summer where she would come in and she'd have a snack every day. And I'd be like, oh, a snack, yay. But there's nothing I particularly crave, and I won't eat unless I'm starving and it's the end of the day.
Do you have a thing that you say, okay, I need to finish this, then I can eat? I do that so often, like I punish myself. If I start something, I say myself that I need to finish this and then I can eat. And then sometimes that thing takes like 6-7 hours.
I kind of feel like I lack discipline in that way because it's like, who's gonna spank me? Like, who's holding me accountable to this little rule that I made up? I can do whatever I want. I can eat ice cream first thing in the morning if I want to.
Yeah.
I don't, but I could. I've been thinking about it recently. I've been wanting to push the agenda that we should eat cake first thing in the morning. Not pancakes, birthday cake.
What helps you enter a creative flow when you feel blocked? Or do you ever feel blocked?
I honestly think spending time with my friends. My friends are such inspirational people in themselves, and most of them have passions of their own. Something I've learned is that I do need to get out of this space, out of the studio, and experience life, because my work comes from life experience, and my entire life cannot be confined to the studio. So sometimes my mom's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm working. She's like, send me a picture. And I'll just be at a bar with my friends. I was like, this is a tax write-off. Like, this is inspiring me. Like, this is gonna be a painting.
Can you tell us a little bit about the story? Like, what was the night? When did you take this picture?
So this was a night that was really unexpected because she lives in LA. Two of my friends had texted me, oh, I just saw Salem. And I was like, Hail Mary, I'll ask her to hang out. And she said yes. And we were at this party for a bit. We were actually at this girl, Sophia's party. We stayed for a bit. She was like, do you want to get dinner? I was like, yeah. And I think it was my first time seeing her. It was 2 years at that point. But we had only ever hung out like once or twice at this point in the span of like 3 years or so. It was a night that like meant a lot to me. And it was a night of connection, friendship. And we were just like on the corner of Allen and Houston and in front of El Churro. And I just took this picture of her and I was like, I kind of want to remember this moment forever. And I think this is one of the ones where I'm not really budging on price and I need to know the person who collects it, because this is one that I would like to have in my life for the rest of my life and have access to it, and also have her have access to it, because it means a lot to me. It's very sentimental.
What happens in your body when you are deeply immersed in making? Is this a meditation, flow state? You don't even feel hunger?
I don't know if this is going to answer your question directly. When I'm painting, I feel like it's truly what I was born to do. This is what God or the universe put me on this earth to do. When I'm painting, I've recently come to realize that it's a form of prayer. I recently read that prayers can be as simple as like, wow, and thank you. And I think my works sort of speak to just being in wow of my life, even if it's like these small experiences. And like, there are also thank yous to the universe for putting these people in my life and like allowing me to have these moments. So it does feel like a religious experience. I think how people feel in church is how I feel when I'm creating, or even when I'm like in a museum. Van Gogh once talked about how you've really known God if you've seen a Rembrandt. That's how he felt when he was looking at Rembrandt's paintings. And like, I felt that same thing when I was standing in front of a Rembrandt, but I also feel it when I'm standing in front of a Van Gogh. And I'm starting to feel, not that I'm comparing myself to them, but I feel it when I'm making my own work. Because it's just a recreation, it's an imitation of what God has already created. And I would never force my views upon anyone. I think that's why I've been able to keep this relationship with painting so sacred, because it's not intended to be a preachy thing. It's just my personal relationship with it. Have you read that Rick Rubin book? It's like Notes on Creativity or something.
I have that book in my storage.
I kind of don't, well, no, I'm not gonna say that. But there was one thing I took from it, and he said, everyone is an artist. Like, you're an artist even if you're in conversation with someone, because you're putting something into the world that wasn't there before. So even if that's a thought, and that's super interesting to think about when I hear my friends who aren't identifying as artists, or just have like their regular like 9-to-5 tech jobs, their consulting jobs. And I was like, no, we're having a good conversation right now. Like, you are an artist. Like, it's fine.
I agree with that. I think I was reading Julia Cameron, Artist's Way, and she also believes that everyone is artist. And she believes some artists question themselves or like basically hidden artists that, for example, a finance guy, he chose to be in a relationship with artistic girl or artistic guy because that's their soul craving to be closer to art.
This is from Picture of Dorian Gray. It says, I am so glad you have never done anything, never carved a statue or painted a picture or produced anything outside of yourself. Life has been your art. You have set yourself to music. Your days are your sonnets. I was thinking how beautiful that is. And how probably the best of us, the best artists amongst us, are people that are not creating in the same way that I am, or so many other artists are.
Does making art drain you, energize you, or both? I think you answered this question. Like, I wouldn't say making art drains you. You
No.
seem like, yeah, you're very in tune with your art.
Oh, it's not draining though.
Yeah.
I think art like gives me life. Like it, I always have the capacity to do it. When I hear about all these people that like art is so torturous to make, like it's so painful, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, are we making the same art? I'm enjoying this. And even on my darkest days, when I feel like nothing is gonna make me smile again, like there's no reason to live, because whatever, we're all kind of sick in the brain.
Yeah.
There definitely have been days where I felt that way, and then I come into the studio and just like doing this makes everything feel okay again.
I agree. Do you think making art makes you go closer to your ancestors or people in your line that were artistic? For example, I always believe our ancestors carry something that we have now, even if they didn't have the chance to show it. They might not have canvas or paint to paint, but the talent definitely was there.
There's definitely a spiritual connection. I was talking to my friend Tyler about this because his uncle recently passed away, and I had never met his uncle. Like if someone passes away and they were important to someone in my life, I'll just do a little drawing of them and give it to that person as a gift, because it's never failed to make someone smile or cry. I think that's probably the most important work that I've made. So actually, to answer your earlier question, in terms of do I sketch, that is actually the only time I sketch, is when I'm doing those. I think the people that I've sketched, honestly, are now a part of me. And I think they look out for me because they see that I've been looking out for the person that they left behind. But I was telling Tyler the other night, I was like, I know this is gonna sound so weird, but I had to make a hard decision that day. Even though I never met his uncle before, I knew that his uncle was with me and he led me to making the right decision. And I told Tyler about it, and he was like, that makes a lot of sense to me, because when I have to make a decision, that's who I turn to. And there have been a lot of moments where I felt people who I didn't necessarily even meet with me, even during like dark times. They're telling me like, it's gonna be okay. I think it does, art does act as some sort of bridge between, what was the word you used? Like the spirits, yeah, I think. Spirits. And I think it also goes back into the God and like religion thing, because when I was reading Van Gogh's journals, I was like, oh my God, like he's me. Like how, like it just felt like a shared lived experience. And I think that's something that's so great about art as well, is that it sort of transcends like race and gender and time and all of the things that divide us. Because here we have this like straight white guy who lived in like the 1890s, like 1860s, centuries ago. And never in my life have I felt more seen or understood as a gay Black woman than by this man that I've never met, who is demographically the opposite of me.
I want to talk about being gay, if you're comfortable. Yeah. Like, how did you come out, basically, and how it affects your work? I know that it's challenging, but I want to like listen to your experience.
Yeah. I'm really surprised to hear just how little being gay affects me. In terms of my art or in terms of like oppression, how I came out, it's the most disappointing coming out story ever. I was either 16 or 17, and the girl I was in love with at the time, she had a bad day. And my mom and I had just gotten dinner, and it was kind of like in the girl's neighborhood. I said, hey Mom, do you mind if I drop something off to her? She had a bad day. So my mom like takes me to this bakery. I'm sitting outside of this girl's house, like in my mom's car, and I didn't have paper. So I was writing something on the back of the receipt. I was writing a love letter. And I was just gonna like leave it on her porch. And I stopped writing and I was like, hey Mom, I like her. My mom was texting on her phone. She didn't even look up. She says, I know. And I said, no, Mom, like, I like her. And she says, it's 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night. You're sitting in my car writing a love letter on the back of the receipt of the cupcakes you just bought this girl because she had a bad day. Like, I know, Hillary. And I was like, okay, great. Yeah, that's my coming out story. Very fortunate to have an accepting mom.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, I was never scared that she wouldn't be okay with that. I think more than anything, like more than having a career or being successful, whatever that means, or having my life go in a certain direction, my mom just wanted us to be good people, kind people, tolerant people, accepting, open-minded, non-judgmental.
Oh,
Yeah, that's like the most important thing to her, yeah.
What role does community play in your creative life? I see that I would say this is very communicative because you have your friends, you love your friends, and clearly you have a very good relationship that they inspire you to make more paintings.
Yeah.
So I want you to talk about that.
I mean, I think the work wouldn't exist without the community. And you know that saying, it takes a village to raise a child. I don't think I've ever stopped being a child in my case. And I think my village continues to grow. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for friends that push me and inspire me, whether it's something that they're doing themselves. Like I'm friends with so many like filmmakers and actors and writers. Just like the multidisciplinary practice of it all is like, oh, you're writing this and like you're shooting that, and how our work sort of complements each other even though it's not the exact same thing. So many musicians too, like the soundtrack to my last show was one of my good friends, Ben's band. Like Ben's voice really carried me throughout making that entire body of work. So there's that aspect of it, but it's also just like they carry me in so many different ways. Like my best friend lives in Australia now. Even though she's there, I still do Christmas and like all the holidays with her parents, just us three. My friends have mentioned me in rooms that I wasn't in, and it's led me to so many connections and like led to my village growing. And I think you have to have people who like really care about you and really have your best intentions in mind. And like it's so easy to want to like gatekeep an opportunity and gatekeep just so many different things because people aren't satisfied with their own lives. And I can honestly say I don't have anyone like that in my life. My friends have never ever, or the ones closest to me at least, have never been envious of me and have just always really supported me. And that support manifests itself in so many different ways. Like even if it's just like, because there are so many days where I'm suffering with self-doubt. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. What if I've like made a mistake choosing this path? Even if it's something as simple as like a conversation and or like reassurance that I'm doing the right thing. Or like I have a friend, Ashna, who like if I'm down bad, like financially, she'll be like, come over, I brought groceries, like I'll cook for you tonight, like dinner's on me. I'm just the luckiest girl in the world really to have people that care for me so deeply. And I know a lot of people bask in this idea of like, oh yeah, I did it by myself, I came up like alone. It's like, I can't say that. I can never say that. Even if it wasn't the people who I thought were supposed to take care of me, at the end of the day, I was taken care of. I've always been taken care of.
Do you think is asking help easy for you? I know that now, like from our conversation, I see you appreciate your friendships and their help.
I literally would not have this studio if it weren't for the generosity of Sonia, because Sonia knows that like I don't come from money. I don't have like a lot of money to burn. She's like, okay, just move into the studio, you pay X amount, and like I'll pay X amount. And all I can say is that she pays so much more for her share of the studio than I pay for mine. And that's just like out of the kindness of her heart, because like she believes in me and believes in what I'm trying to do and just like is a good friend. And it's just like stuff like that, that I feel like my entire world has been built on the generosity and kindness of those around me. And so I really want, and I really try to return that same energy into this world. I feel like it's expected of me to make work about, I call it trauma porn. I think a lot of the Black community has a problem with all of our representation being films about slavery or segregation, and like there's so much more to the Black experience than those things. And I feel like for a long time I thought there was a right and wrong way to be a Black artist. Like I've always thought I wasn't Black enough because my portfolio didn't look like a Kehinde Wiley or like a Jordan Castile or an Amy Sherald, where I was painting wasn't black. And like, that's always been something I've really struggled with. At the end of the day, like, that's just not my reality. Like, I'm surrounded by so many different cultures. Like I was just telling Jeev that I have an uncanny amount of Filipino friends, and it wasn't on purpose. Like I've met them all through different ways. And then like Parham's Iranian, and like Salem's black, Tyler's black, I mean, mixed, whatever. And then I have like white friends, Mark, you know, Mark's not white, obviously, but I think it's important to just like represent people in my life. Like I don't think I'm doing things for the sake of representation. Someone once told me, like a collector, they said, looking at your paintings and hearing your name, like I couldn't tell that you were a woman, I couldn't tell that you were black, I just knew that you were gay. Because apparently there's a way to paint gay, and that's super funny. I always think about that.
This is very, very interesting. I would love to know like how gayness speak through painting.
I don't know, but like it does, because my favorite painters are gay, like Doran Longberg, Jenna Gribben, Oscar Yehu, like they're gay. And I like, it's just something that just so happens. Like I didn't know that when I first got into their work.
I think now a couple of paintings comes to my mind. When I was in Miami, like with this Art Basel week, you see a lot of paintings. And there were certain paintings that I can look and I would say, this is gay man.
Yeah.
And like 3 of them was correct. I don't know how, and I don't know why I was feeling it immediately. One more question about the trauma you said. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's related to your age too? You're very young, and thank God that this thing is changing. Yeah. That now you don't relate the trauma art more, but you relate your art and your friends, your creativity. That could be age too, that the black artists that older than you, they are much closer to that trauma.
Absolutely.
I don't know how you grow up, but maybe your parents also like hold you a little, protect you from the being exposed to bad experience.
Yeah.
So now you are here today and you create from basically pure joy from your own heart and the things you want to paint, not that you have to, or I don't know. I think it's a good thing that you can say, you
it's
can say
such
comfortably
a privilege.
That, yes, you can say comfortably that I paint whatever I want. I don't feel black enough to paint this, but also like you're a black artist, you're a future.
Like everything I do is black technically.
Yes, and also thank God this is the reality we want to achieve. That
it's because of those before me. It's because of the Henry Taylors and the Carrie James Marshalls that I am afforded the luxury of painting what I want to paint. Like those guys are goats, like Barkley Hendricks, like all of them. Just
I went to see Amy Sherald at Whitney.
Incredible.
Yeah. Beautiful paintings, and like each one I look at, I was like, I want this at my house. I want this too. I want this too. It was
Did
beautiful.
you see the Jennifer Packer show? It was the best show of the year.
How do you protect your voice while being part of an art world?
Honestly, I just do what I want to do. I feel like if I didn't protect my voice and succumb to everything people have told me to do, then it wouldn't be my work. And I think that would become very obvious and no one would respond to it. I think what's appealing about my work is that it's honest and it's not trying to be anything else than what it is. Like, I sort of hate that the art world is turning into this like elitist, like academic thing. Like you need your MFA to get gallery representation, and who can afford an MFA? Probably people who come from money. Like you can't get an MFA without getting in tons of debt if you can't afford it. That comes from like academia and having to understand like really obscure concepts, and my work is just like, here's my life, this is a documentation of my life right now, here are my friends, it's a pretty picture, and you take it for what it is, and it doesn't need to be anything more than that. And if you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine. It's not for everyone.
You know, this, I'm not sure I will put this part in the video or not, but this reminds me Alex Katz a little bit. We went to Guggenheim for his show. I didn't realize, but at one point, one of my friends, she pointed it out. She said, this is such a great life. He just painted his friends. And all his friends are like, poets, authors.
Yeah.
And his wife, Ada. The whole, like, you see basically very often, he paints Ada different places and different scarves or outfits, but mostly he paints his friends.
Yeah, and I think that's something I really love about art, like the recognition that happens. Like there's this drawing of Van Gogh by Lautrec, and Lautrec's like my favorite post-impressionist. It's just this moment of connection where he's like, oh, like that's my friend too, or like Van Gogh's painting of Gauguin, like both of them painting each other, and then you have like Alice Neel painting Basquiat and Andy Warhol. It's like you almost feel like you're a part of the friend group. Well, I'm actually reading a book called My Soul Looks Back by its author Jessica B. Harris, and she's talking about how she was hanging out with Toni Morrison and James Baldwin and like this 1960s of New York. And it just makes you feel like you're a part of it. So I think it's really cool to know these people before, because I wholeheartedly believe like my friends, like they're the next generation. Like Tyler's gonna be like the next big director, as is Mark. And like Sophia's already such an accomplished photographer. Cassie's an amazing stylist. Salem is this entrepreneur and this, like she's beautiful, but she has like all this ambition. And Salem Goods is gonna be a Fortune 500 company, like mark my words. Mateen, amazing photographer. Liv is gonna have her own magazine one day, and Kelsey is gonna be like the actress of a generation. And like, just like remember these faces, remember these names, like, and you're gonna see them in my paintings in like 50 years, and you're like, oh, like I was there with them. Like,
What brings you back to the studio?
because I love it. Like,
You love
it's
it?
just, it is. It's that simple. I love it. I love doing this. I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life.
Perfect.
It's not difficult to come to the studio.
How did you feel when you sold your first art?
I was so excited. I might have been 15. And it was to a stranger. So it wasn't like even like one of those, oh, my mom's friend is buying my art as a favor. It was a person who walked in to, there was this gallery in New Orleans at the time called Magazine Art Exchange. It's not there anymore. And I was so excited that they even asked me to show my art. But then someone walked in and she was like, I really like this. And I think I sold it for, it was like 150 or 200 bucks. It was this 2 foot by 2 foot portrait. And I was like, look at me, like I'm the most successful girl of all time. It was like 200 bucks was gone the next day probably.
My previous artist, I asked him to ask a question from the next artist. So his question was, if you had all the money, all the place in the world, what would you create? No limitation. And I will ask you to have a question for the next artist.
Well, I would definitely start buying exclusively Old Holland and Williamsburg paint. I got my first taste of it this past week, and I'm hooked. And I
What is
texted my
it?
studio mates, and I was like, I'm fucked. Like, I can't go back to Gamblin. I can't go back to Winsor Newton. Like, I need these paint brands. And it's not sustainable financially.
Which brand is that?
This is Old Holland.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is this a Canadian brand by any chance?
I think it's like Utrecht. The Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
Holland, yeah.
Oh, Holland, yeah.
And then Williamsburg. I say I would work bigger. I know working bigger for me is inevitable, but I've had there's just nothing for me to make that needs to be that big right now. So that will come in due time. I was thinking about this. I was like, I hope I know the day will come when we have to move out of this studio. Like, if I was given the opportunity to have like a studio by myself in Soho right now, like I wouldn't. Like, I love sharing the space with Sonia and Isabel so much. Like, they make me a better artist and they make me a better person. And my question for another artist, if you could have a friend group of 5 artists, living or dead, who would be in your friend group?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Any other words for closing the video?
No, that's it.
No?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for opening your studio for us. And basically, I got to know you and your friends. Thank you.
Thank you.